that's a really great tip actually for women of our age, actually,
Mhm.
is to mix up smart with casual and casual with smart, and what we used to consider like a gold pump in a fine leather looks so gorgeous with a pair of really old denim jeans and a boy's shirt or something, or your
Yeah.
husband,
Oh,
but then you've just got this real prettiness in your feet. It's wonderful and youthful, I think.
I'm Kim Drucker-Stockwell with the Women's Survival Guide, and today I'm speaking with Penelope Chilvers from Penelope Chilvers. And she is, if you haven't already seen her website from my interview with Kai Fritzinger and the Copper Shed, she has a shoe company that is really, really extraordinary. I don't think it matters whether you're young, old, big, small. There is something there for everyone. And because it's British, it's just cooler than our stuff. The colors and the styles, they're both wearable and fashionable. And with that, I'll hand it over to Penelope and maybe just tell people a bit about, I know the story, but they don't, of how it started.
Well, you're very kind to introduce me so generously. I have been running my business now for 22 years. Yeah, well, at the beginning, it wasn't a business. I never had a business plan. I just started because I had been living in Barcelona for 10 years and married to my Spanish husband and had two little girls, and found myself living back in London and having to start my career again, really. And I'd been a designer working with artisans and a painter in Barcelona. And when I got back to London, I found it difficult to break into that world. London is a much bigger place than Barcelona. And so I was looking for things to do. And while living in Barcelona, I used to go riding in my lunch breaks in the Parque de Collserola, which is a beautiful park at the top of if anyone knows Barcelona, it's like a skirt that goes into the sea. And at the top of the skirt, with the waistline, the national park starts there. And I used to go riding there and every lunch break, and made myself a pair of riding boots to my own measurements and design with an artisan that I met from southern Spain. And I used to wear them in London, although I wasn't riding. But in those days, it was cool to wear long boots with your jeans tucked in. It was that look. And everybody wanted them. All my friends wanted them. And so I started commissioning him to make all my girlfriends' boots. And it really kind of took off like that from my kitchen table.
Yeah.
While I was doing other part-time work and just trying to make ends meet in a very, very expensive city compared to being in Barcelona, and being single and trying to bring up my girls independently. And where was I? And yes, it took off from there. So I had one pair of boots that are called the long tassel boots, which are quite famous in themselves these days.
Yes.
Because well, they've been in the press a lot, and they're
They've been
still our
on some
best.
royals. They've been on some
They
royal
have.
feet.
Yes, they have. And then I started, I'm a serial designer and maker. And so I started creating a collection together, and I took it to Paris Fashion Week.
How many years later was that from when you
That was
started?
the same year. That was the same year. Yeah, it was pretty quick. I thought, nearly broke the bank to rent the little tiny stand that I had, but I had a table with 6 pairs of boots on it. Each boot did something slightly different, but they were all made by the same man. And I then took orders from all over the world, from the US, from Japan, from Spain itself, from Coles to Newcastle, we say. And yeah, I totted up the orders on my way back on the Eurostar, which is the train that takes you from Paris to London, and thought, my goodness, how am I going to make all these boots? I've got to find a way, because this could be the beginning of something.
Mhm.
and I was determined to produce everything that I had taken orders for. In those, and then slowly it grew, and it was all wholesale. My greatest partner in the US was Calypso.
Oh, I
Um,
loved Calypso. Oh,
yeah,
my favorite. Well, that's so funny.
yes,
We never talked about that.
yeah. So Christiane Sell was the owner and creative director of Calypso at the time, and she had stores. She was booming and had stores all over.
I remember I was in the Hamptons then and New York and then when I moved back to Boston, she had a place here too. Uh they were phenomenal. So like in 93, I remember going to her store in the
Mhm.
Hamptons. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah.
So yeah, and she loved color. So I used to make a new color of riding boots, suede riding boots for her every season,
Mhm.
and it grew from there. Um,
Is
since
that
then,
how is that how you got into the others? That actually makes a little sense because Calypso had a wonderful array of, I mean, I still have all my stuff from them. Footwear, like the espadrilles. Were those yours? She had
Yes,
several espadrilles. Oh, that's so
yes,
funny. Oh,
yeah,
what's that store? She really had such an eye. That
yes,
makes so much sense. Okay. Were you wholesaling? Was your name in those?
yeah. Hmm.
I have. That's so
Yeah.
funny. I have some.
I
I'll go
started
look
my
at.
business as wholesale, and then I opened my first website, which was also for wholesale,
Mhm.
um, in that first year. And then we didn't open our first store, which is in Notting Hill Gate, until I think I was 7 years in.
Okay.
Having not been to business school, but art school, and with a full life and juggling children, bringing up children without help, and running a business, I really grew my business kind of when I could. I
Mhm.
didn't I didn't kind of look into the future and think I'm going to be there in 2 years' time.
Right.
Uh, it was always just doing what I could do.
Yeah. That makes sense because you don't really think, you don't have time to necessarily see the forest for the trees. You have to kind of just get done what people want you to get done. And if you don't get it done, like how are you supposed to think of the big picture when you can't have a big picture if you don't get the small picture done? And how did you
Yeah.
get those boots done? That poor man, was he just working day and night, or did he have to find some more people?
Yes, I mean we used to work on fax in those days, and I
Yeah.
used to get the most angry faxes from him saying, "You're just being too greedy. This is enough. I'm not making any more. You're going to have to look somewhere else." And he eventually introduced me to a school friend of his who actually had a factory in the same area,
Mhm.
and he kindly helped me get these designs made so that I could then expand to the quantities that I needed. But I used to work, I'm sure many women out there have done the same as me. I used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and have my best hours of work
Mhm.
before the children were awake. And then 8 o'clock came, the breakfast was laid. I'd taken a deep breath,
Yeah,
full-time mummy time,
yeah,
and enjoyed that moment before they went to school.
that is lovely. And I've met Gemma. I don't think I've met your other daughter. Did I meet your other daughter?
Yeah. My other daughter's called Africa, and she's just had a baby. So
Oh,
she's on
oh my,
maternity.
oh, that's so exciting. Well, they're lovely. I mean, Gemma is lovely. When you came to Boston, I had so much fun with you guys.
She's
Um,
fun.
yeah, no, totally. And the thing is, it's just for me to see a family business the way, like you're so integrated and it's lovely because there's both the lovely relationship as mother-daughter and as what I've found personally, I have three daughters, and as they've gotten older, they're more fun because they're themselves and they're not you. You don't have to fix everything or plan everything for them. They have their own lives, um, and then to be a part of a business, and she's very good at it. I mean, I've worked with her a bunch now. Um, it's just really something to behold, and it's a wonderful concept. And I think, how did it become, because you started the business without your daughters were a part of your things you had to take care of. How did that integration happen?
Well, actually, funny enough, they did start working for me way before it was legal, and they were legal age. They used to come on, it was needs must. I had to do it, but I had New York Fashion Show, sorry, New York Fashion Week used to hit always on a half term break
Okay.
for my children, so I had to take them with me, and they would come and flog boots with me. Charming little English girls, loving some time in New York, and so they certainly weren't working full time for me then, but they kind of understood the business from a very early age.
Yeah.
And I did all my pick and pack in our sitting room. So for many years it was just two or three people in the company, and then they had their own careers in their 20s and decided they want to come in their 30s to work at Penelope Chilvers. And now we have a structure and have 50 employees. So they don't work for me, and I always correct people when they say you work for your mum. I always say, no, we work in the same business.
That's incredibly, that's interesting that you say that, because we have a family business as well. And I did not work directly for my dad, but I kind of wasn't directly working for any, I think that you're smart to structure it so that they have their own position that they can sink or swim in. And they obviously have to relate to you somehow. Do they have people that they're in charge of now, or?
Yes, and they also have people that they work below. So
Okay.
one of my daughters is in design with me,
Mhm.
but it's not just me, and also production,
Yeah.
and Gemma works more on the marketing side.
Yeah.
But the wonderful thing is that we make everything in Spain, and we're a totally bilingual family.
Mhm.
And it's incredibly important because our production, which I'm very proud of, because it's in quite rarefied places in Spain with small businesses that are also family run. It's really important that we all make ourselves understood in a common language.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. That's very romantic, the whole thing.
Mm.
Um, and I was just going to go, I had the questions that you and I have sort of talked about a bit. I do find it fascinating because I have a bit of a shoe thing myself, and I have a lot of shoes, and I never get rid of them, because it's not like if you have a pair of heels, it's one thing in the old days when you were walking to work in them, when we all were dressed up in our little suits and we walked to work, and eventually you would wear those shoes out. But when you're just wearing a pair of shoes to dinner, or for a particular party or something like that, those shoes can be around forever because they're just still in great shape and you take care of them. So when I look at your shoes, they all are, well, for those who haven't seen, go look at her website right now, because there's such a wonderful array. Like, you almost never have to go anywhere else ever again, because you have play shoes, literally trainers, sneakers, and espadrilles, and leather sandals, flats, and high heels. And my particular favorites are your sort of elegant in velvet or gold, different heels. The Mary Jane, the mid Mary Jane is just, I just think is fantastic, with pants, long pants or skirts. And
You mean the ones that are in honey velvet with the gold
yes,
heel?
well, that is actually my favorite that I tried to get a hold of last year, but I couldn't.
Oh, they're coming back.
Oh, good. But I mean, I think my point is how you went from riding boots to developing this pretty classic line of shoes. I mean, you have repeats like the mid Mary Jane that comes in a variety of fabrics, and the espadrilles, obviously. And the espadrilles, I'm guessing, I know just from being a painter myself, there are colors that come in, and I was a decorator for 8 years, and you'd go to the showrooms, you'd go to Brunswick or Colfax, and you'd see the same color everywhere, because I'm blanking on the name of the company that comes out with the formulas every year for
The
color.
analysts, yeah, color analysts. There are
Yeah.
many.
And so, like, for fashion and whatnot, there's like a formula, and it's like, okay, this year it's peach, and here are the formulas. So anyone from Target to, you know, Gucci is using some of the same colors. So how do you come about choosing your colors? And I mean, I may be the only one fascinated with that, but I'm such a color freak that I just find it amazing. How do you choose?
You asked me two questions there because first of all, color I could talk about till the end of the interview, but you
Mhm.
also talked about how I form a collection and what I include in my collection
True.
or exclude and decide to build a collection on. So although I have a lot of variety in my whole collection, they all have an awful lot in common. They all have one thing in common actually, which is their wearability. So
Mhm.
what you were talking about is that some shoes you never need to throw away.
Right.
We're not high fashion, so I try really hard. My brief to self when I'm designing is to design something that will last for a long time, not only because it's well made, but also because it's not so out there and trend driven that you can wear it this year, next year, and the following year, and hope some of our products for a lifetime. And the other thing is that they're not difficult products to wear. And I have a design brief that I say to myself when I'm thinking, is that us or isn't it us? And does it work within our collection and our brand? And that's, is it a go anywhere, do anything pair of
Mhm.
shoes or boots? Because I feel that women need to feel empowered and free and happy. And so when they're wearing my product, they can run for a bus or,
That's a good idea.
it's, I want them to feel not obviously comfortable, which is, a boring word in the shoe world, but a very important one, but also that wearability.
Mhm.
So, and then color. I'm mad about color as well. I can spend hours and hours just sitting with swatches, creating a new collection, or just doing it for, for whatever I happen to be thinking about making.
Mhm.
And I think we do get fed all sorts of analysis from
Yeah.
companies that do trend talks, but they're always a little bit behind, to tell you the truth, for me, because I live in London, so I'm surrounded by creative people in the fashion world. And two, I think the world has become smaller. We're all reading the same stuff. We're all, certainly the Western world, feeling the same emotions and needing the same things out of our what we wear. And so, and fashion has slowed down a little bit as well, I think, which is a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Yeah.
So color, I love color. I'm a complete nerd about color. So
What aspect of it?
I I can look at it for hours. I can analyze it for hours. I can put color. I just love to see different colors together and combinations. So, you can put 3 or 4 colors together that just sing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that song that colors make when they're put together is something that, I find therapeutic, calming, exciting. It's everything, Of course, then making the shoe is that's a different thing. That's much more difficult. So color just comes easily to me
Mhm.
because I love it so much. And then turning it into a purposeful pair of shoes that work and um, all the components and form work together, then that's also something I absolutely love.
So have you had a shoe that you've designed that you thought was a great idea that didn't work out, that actually went as far as production or something like
Constantly,
yeah.
all the time. And I never go to my sample sales because I find them so incredibly depressing, because I used to go and I would rescue all my half-baked designs that hadn't worked, thinking that was such a good idea if only I'd pushed it a little bit further.
Yeah.
The sad thing is that we do work to a calendar that's very tight,
Yeah.
and I design a lot of new styles, and some fall by the wayside and other things go into production. And on the whole, those are all successful because we make sure that we have wearer trials and people in the office wear them, then we wholesale them. So on the whole, by the time they get into our stores or online, they've been tested quite a lot.
What would be like the biggest fail as far as like, I can't even imagine, because I know your collection so well, so I can't imagine one that didn't work, but it's.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is the boat shoe, which is now extremely fashionable again. Well, I launched a boat shoe that I work with a wonderful workshop in Spain that specialize in that moccasin construction, which is a hard one because it's hand stitched on the front, which is the boat shoe, or I don't know what you call it in the US,
No,
but
I think is it like a moccasin?
it's a moccasin, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
But there are all sorts of different types of moccasins. Anyway, I brought those into the collection just before the pandemic. It was far too early. They bombed. And of course, now I'm so excited to get them back in again because I think they might sell. And I'm actually wearing some today that I made from the collection.
You might
well,
have
they're old and scruffy and they're not for sale yet. So don't get too excited. But and they're just so classic.
Yeah.
But they're made
for a walk.
beautifully. And I've got this saddle leather. They're just beautifully made and they're so comfortable. And I've just been out for a walk in them, and they're kind of like a boot shoe. So they do the same as a boot in the summer. Yeah, they got the tread.
There was a version that that was here in the States for a while by, I think Timberland might have made it or something like that. And it was a long time ago. It was like in the 90s or the 80s. I remember I had a pair and they were kind of like oxblood color with a leather. They were great. Yeah, they were. It's funny. I hadn't thought of those in a while. So yeah, they're due for a comeback, I think, or it's just like,
things go in and out of fashion. And I'm always so happy when a classic like that comes into fashion, because the best is the best. It always, some things never really wane. So.
Well, espadrilles were one of those things that I remember when I got my very first pair. I was like 11 or 12 and it was like a high heel. So that felt really racy. And Jacques Cohen had, I don't know if you guys had those, but they're just pure canvas and they weren't as high as yours. They were probably 3 inches, a wedge. Oh my gosh, they were wonderful. And they came in every color you could imagine, just simple canvas. And then there was also the French espadrille, the very flat ones, but frankly, those were really hard to walk in because the inside was sort of made of jute, and you just like rip your feet apart if you had to walk to school, which I did. So yeah, and they fell apart pretty easily. But your espadrilles take it to a snazzier level, and that's where I can see your color play too, what colors you put on top of each other.
Yeah, it's the fun part of designing my summer collection, the really fun bit. I had my canvas color card right on the table, actually.
Oh, really?
Just chucked it on the floor. Here we are. I mean, just look at that.
Stop. Oh my God.
So,
the colors.
Beautiful organic washed cottons. So yeah, I've just finished designing next summer. I love espadrilles for that one because they're totally biodegradable, because we have a cork sock. The rest is cotton and the rest is jute. So it's a wonderful, natural, really authentic, old-fashioned shoe. And I'm mad about I love the history of the shoe. I like the history of all footwear from around the world. So it's not just the espadrille. I've been to the North Pole to find out how the Sami people keep their feet warm in the winter, and I've been to Argentina to talk about gaucho boots and with the gauchos, and the espadrilles are innate to the Mediterranean. And I'm imagining that they go back, a simple version of those would go back to Romans, because all it is a coiled bit of jute from the grasslands around the Mediterranean, with a hand-stitched upper. So they're very simple. I mean, we do last them, which means that we do have a shoe shape in them, but they are simple. But that's what makes them so comfortable, I think.
Yeah.
In the summer.
With the heel though, when do you think that started?
Probably. I'm not sure. When did women start wearing heels? A long time ago.
Oh, a long time ago. I was just
Yeah.
thinking the espadrille heel, that
Um,
wedge.
Yes. I mean, my grandmother's era, they used to believe that they had to wear a bit of a heel when they got older anyway, didn't they? Because it helped their posture.
Yeah, I guess it would help it, wouldn't it? Hmm. I mean, I still
I
wear.
don't know.
I love your pump
I mean,
is so. Is pump the right term?
the espadrille pump or the
Well, I
pump,
was thinking of
the Mary Jane pump with the leather sole.
the one you kind of have the same shoe shape for there was the leopard, the sort of a leopard print, an animal print in velvet
Mhm.
that is
Yes.
phenomenal. And it's a beautiful heel. It's I mean, I love the Mary Jane. I feel like it may be
Oh,
a
yes, the gamine, we call it.
okay, I mean, it's just makes everybody's leg look phenomenal. And then um what you do is then you have it in a series of different, very different looking shoe, but actually underneath it all, the form is
Yes,
the same. So
that's
the
correct.
yeah, which I like the one I have the actually Kai Kai has them for me, the black with that with the bow,
Diamante, the
metal
huge
bow.
Diamante bow.
Uh,
Yes.
it's sort of a large mesh metal. I don't think it has stones in it, does it?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Does? Okay. And it sort of drapes itself over the toe of the shoe and it in this
Mm.
kind of classic but funky way because it's amazing that it stays there. It covers sort of the whole cap of the shoe, of the black shoe. So for a dinner party, it or whatever, it's just I love those. And they're comfortable. I
Yeah.
mean, if you can wear a
I like
heel, yeah.
I like playing with scale. You know, I
Mhm.
like you make a lot, you put a large bow on the front of a toe, then it makes your foot look very small and your
It,
ankle look tiny.
that's the thing. These shoes make your ankle look tiny. There's just
Yeah.
something so elegant, the shape, and it would be so fun to do a little series on shoes that do help your leg and foot and shoes that clearly don't work for you if you're like, and that actually leads me to um the so there are a lot of women out there and so there's stuff thrown at us all the time what we midlife women should be wearing to make us look younger or better or whatever. um I don't feel the need to look better. I like to be comfortable and I like to look the best I can with what I've got. So like the concept of sort of the midlife reboot of a no, that's a pun, of a fashion reboot. Like
Yeah.
if women were looking for something to like a first, let's say they don't the riding boots maybe are too expensive for them, or maybe they're I mean, for what they are, they're incredibly well priced, but let's say they live in the suburbs or the city and they want to get a shoe. What would you suggest to sort of the, you know, person in their, 50s and up would be a
You
good.
mean, from this season
Mhm.
as a kind of shoe.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's a really hard one for me to answer.
It,
I mean,
yeah.
I love being in my shop and serving customers, but when I'm face to face with them and I know what they want it for,
Mhm.
there's I like to think that all our shoes have a purpose, so I can, if they say what they want, what they're thinking and what they want to wear it with and where to, then I can find them the shoe. Um, and I can't really think something. I mean, a flat pump at the moment is, I think, probably something that we're all, it's a new trend. And I think maybe for our age group, it makes you feel very young to wear it.
Is that the sort of
But
Mary
it's so
Jane
pretty.
with a flat
I
with
have,
the one with the little heel? I think
yes.
like that kind of.
Yes, we have one with a square toe and one with a round toe.
Oh, they're
Uh,
really cute. Yeah.
and the round toe is very flat and very pretty. But that doesn't suit everybody because I think you have to have quite a neat little foot or a narrower foot.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a shoe that I can't wear actually. I find it too narrow. But what else do I wear? Oh, I wear the espadrille version of those, which I also feel makes me feel kind of cookie and small and, energetic. And that is the Chico,
Is
which
that the one with the strap? It has like,
it's
it's
got the
flat.
crossover elastic strap. It's like a ballet pump on an
Yeah.
espadrille sole with a crossover. And we've done it at the moment, we've just done it in this beautiful ruby red and black.
Oh, I'll have
But
to.
we're bringing out 3 more colors in August to take you into autumn as well. Wonderful khaki and blush pink and like a saffrony tan color. So really gorgeous
Oh,
colors
I
to take
love
you to
saffron.
autumn.
And saffron for me is like the Indian yellow. It's just, oh, no, that's the thing is that I get weak when I look at the website because I like, there's just so many shoes to choose from. And there's no, there's the little, the ones I have my eye on right now are they come in just a lovely, beautiful leather, strappy, sort of flat sandal, but it's probably like an inch, maybe like an inch heel. It's like just, I don't know what you call
Yes,
that. It's just
with the
sort of,
wide strap of and covered buckle.
it's more like it's just a really wearable shoe. It's like a classic you could wear with a long dress or pants or whatever, but it's a it's a casual shoe, although you do have it in gold as well.
Yes, but you can wear gold with jeans.
Oh
I think
yeah.
I think that that's a really great tip actually for women of our age actually is
Mhm.
to mix up, smart with casual and casual with smart, and what we used to consider like a gold pump in a fine leather looks so gorgeous with a pair of really old denim jeans um and a boy's shirt or something, or your,
Yeah.
husband.
Oh,
I think, but then you've just got this real prettiness in your feet. It's wonderful and youthful, I think.
I think that could be the pro tip of the month, the mix in the gold, because it is something, you're right. Like we all grew up, if you were working in an office job at Ann Taylor, you go to Ann Taylor, I don't know what they were they in Britain? No.
I don't know because I've never worked in an office.
Right. Oh, I have.
So I never
They-
wore those 80s suits.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
With the little shoes.
I was a scruffy mum, country mum.
Oh, so cute. But it was one of those things that you didn't mix. Like if you had a pair of gold shoes, I
Yeah,
don't think it would have occurred to me to put them with a pair of jeans at that time. It was
yeah,
fancy or business or casual. And
yeah,
now you can unite it all because work has changed, I guess, in a way. I mean, just in what we're doing right now. Like right now, I'm wearing sweatpants. No, I'm just kidding. I'm wearing jeans. But let me think. Is there anything else we should talk about? Trying to think.
um,
I think that's pretty good. Because
yeah,
we're
I think
gonna
we've talked a lot about shoes, which is wonderful.
we have
Um,
shoes are wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, you have accessories too.
We
Forgot about
do.
you do have
We
accessories.
do. Yeah, we do. We have a little gold clutch that actually goes with those shoes
Oh,
that
really? Oh,
pop under your arm. And then we have a bag called the pillow bag, which I called the pillow bag because I kind of imagined it would be the perfect pillow. If you're on a train and you fall asleep, you can sleep on your bag. And that's in a metallic leather as well. I think it's in like a champagne silver color. And
oh,
your
that's a
favorite
good color.
shoes we're doing in silver as well. So
It's going to be very hard to choose. And actually, um, Penelope and Company is for Mother's Day contributing free shipping for anybody with a certain, I'll put the code on the post and free shipping from, do they come
from the
from
UK.
the UK?
Oh, yes, from London.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's a great savings and just in time for Mother's Day. So I
That's
honestly I
wonderful.
don't know how you would choose one pair of shoes off your website because we do so many things in our lives, and you need a pair of sandals, a pair of cute sneakers, a pair of snazzy pumps, a pair of high espadrilles that look great with everything, and then you need bags to match, and you
Yeah.
need the leather,
And
the high boots.
amazingly enough, we can do a next day delivery from the UK to the US.
You're
If
kidding.
we can, if yes.
Wow. For the people, and my daughter
I
is gonna
think
live
not in all areas, but in the cities, you know, it's
That's
we do.
incredible. That's well, I'm very excited for I think my daughter is moving to London, and I can't wait to
Oh,
get over to
good.
that Notting Hill store, because it's like so
You'll have
exciting.
to see, yeah. Well, let me know when.
I will, I will.
I'll be sure to that. I'll be there.
I think she's gonna move in the fall. I'm gonna conclude our formal interview, and then we can have a chat afterwards.
Mhm.
But I wanted to thank you for doing this. And
Thank you.
I can't
Thank-
speak more high. I own a bunch of your shoes, and I can tell people firsthand that they are really fun and really comfortable. Um, so thank you, Penelope Chilvers from the UK. And
Thank you so much, Kim, for having me.
you're welcome.